Average rents in Madison, $1,500-$1,600. Our average rent is a little over $1,000.
Wow.
Brand new. Oh, I market it as affordable luxury. So people are like, what is that? Like, how do you do? Well, let me tell you. We have all of the amenities that you're going to have with a brand new Class A ground up deal in downtown Madison.
Pool,
fitness, co-working areas, bike parking and storage, dog park, dog wash.
You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Today, we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Cody Wiseman of Wiseman Capital Group. So, Cody, how's it going today?
Excellent. Thank you so much, James, for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful studio you have and so close to home.
Indeed.
Yes,
so nice. Tell me a story. What is Wiseman Capital Group?
Yeah, so Wiseman Capital, I founded this company back in 2022, and so we're a real estate investing firm, really focused in the greater Madison area, multifamily specific. So at the end of the day, what it is we partner with everyday people to invest in real estate together. So that's the beautiful thing about it is a lot of times people are, hey, how do I invest in this building that I see getting put up in Madison or these apartment buildings? They think it's just, a big investment firm or something like that. But Wiseman Capital is partnering just with everyday people, a lot of local Madison people, and we run the project for them. They get investor updates. I put my own money in too, so they're investing right alongside of me.
All right. So you're talking the huge apartment buildings, the 5,500 unit, whatever stuff?
Yeah, maybe not quite 5,500 units.
Okay.
But so we've got, we just opened up 129 units over on the east side of Madison. So,
okay.
I mean, some consider that large, medium, it kind of depends. But yeah, the larger buildings where we've got an on-site property manager. We actually manage our properties now in-house. Meaning we've got our own property manager that works for Wiseman Property Management, which is a subsidiary of Wiseman Capital.
Sure.
So it gives us a little bit better control and a better resident experience when we're controlling the full asset and experience from, I like to say, from lead to lease, right? If you come in and you want to inquire about living here, we want to give that great experience, fast response right away. Give that showing, get people living there. If they've got a work order or just have any questions, the property's clean because we're taking care of it every single day.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you get into the real estate game like that?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of different ways. We'll
How did you get into the real estate game?
We'll focus on my story, right? I mean,
sure.
that's what we're here for.
It's the one you know.
It's the one that I know best, and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of tears with it. No, I'm just kidding.
It sounds like the way to go.
No joke, right? I mean, that's what we're here to talk about is being authentic and real and in the behind the scenes and what it actually takes to build something, because a lot of times you see, as we've seen, overnight success.
Yes, the 10-year overnight success.
That overnight success, there's a lot more to it, the 10 years before that pop of success. So I started about 4.5 years ago. My background is software sales. Growing up, I did some construction. My dad's a home builder, does some land development up in the Twin Cities. So my summer jobs were building houses.
All right.
So, I understood construction, but from a single family home aspect of it. And I always wanted to get into real estate in some capacity. I don't have the skills to be the broker, and connecting deals and stuff like that, but I do have a sales background. And I just knew that wasn't going to be the route I wanted to go. I wanted to actually own and develop and fix up properties and stuff like that. So about 4.5 years ago, I bought my first 3-unit building in downtown Madison, 938 East Dayton. Lot of sweat equity put into that one. So I bought that with my own money. And did essentially a value add or a BRRRR, another name for it, where you're going to fix it up and then refinance and kind of roll some money into the next deal. But so that was a complete, almost a complete gut job. we were down, ripping that place apart. When I bought it, it was a vacant building then, 3-unit. I wanted it empty
downtown
because
there.
Yeah, so that was part of the agreement. It was owner occupied. One person was moving out, and there was a hoarder who lived upstairs for 19 years, and it was I don't know how she was living there. It was that bad. And so that was part of the agreement is I want this building empty. So left the closing table, went, started just ripping this place apart, cleaning it up, and spent a couple months while I was working full-time as a software sales rep, working from home. So I'd go down there from like 5 to 8 a.m. And then go down there in the evenings until like 10, 11 o'clock, and most weekends for a couple of months fixing this place up.
Wow.
And then, I was learning on the job, right? I didn't know anybody who
All
I didn't know anybody who owned multifamily.
So you got into that game specifically saying, hey, I can make money in real estate, but knowing nothing really.
I read some books.
Okay.
I did the old listen to some podcasts.
Sure.
Good stuff like this where you're
Yeah.
able to learn from people who have actually done it. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I can do this. But yeah, there was nobody that I knew that owned rental properties when I got that thing under contract, and I was scared. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
So how did you know? Tell me about pricing, because pricing we're talking 4 or 5 years ago was even more insane than it is now.
Yeah. So I get looking back, it's amazing what I got this thing for. I bought it for $255,000.
What?
Yep. Put about.
That must have been a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Okay.
And I put about what was that, $46,000 of my own cash then into that to fix it up, and then leased it up and went to get it reappraised because I wanted to pull some money out, get it reappraised and then refinance it. That was kind of the game plan. Well, the appraisal came in $100,000 less than what it appraised for before I bought it. And I was like,
$100,000 less.
And I said, I think you guys messed up this math. And so I gambled again, and I said, I'm going to pay for another appraisal, and it came out much further ahead. So I don't know if that appraiser didn't quite know the market and
Gotcha.
didn't. I don't. Yeah, anyway, so
yeah,
I was able to turn that into a success then, and then rolled that into a 4-unit, which I then bought with my dad because he was looking to buy some stuff then too, and I'm like, I'm going to keep buying stuff. So we partnered on another small deal, 4 units, and then shortly after that, I had an off market because let me back up. So then I was starting to kind of build my network and connect with people who are doing multifamily and investing and brokers and stuff like that, because the broker I bought it from really kind of specialized more in single family, and he had sold some single family homes that I've built in the past and lived in and then sold. And so Tony Tucci, fantastic guy, and I called him. A lot of people know Tony Tucci, and so I'm like, Tony, this is what I want to do. And so like he found this deal off market, that 3-unit that I got, and then he was connected to even the 4-unit, and through that relationship with Tony, he introduced me to Ryan Schmitz with the Hub Realty, who really focuses in larger multifamily. And so I just started kind of building these connections, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from another broker saying, I've got a 12-unit in Sun Prairie right up the road from here, off market. Are you interested? I'm like, yeah. So I'd look at it and I'm like, okay, gosh, it's kind of scary writing an offer on that. I didn't know where I was going to get all the money and stuff like that.
Yeah, how do you pull the cash?
Yeah,
right?
so like, because I just bought a 4-unit now, so I was at 7 units at that point, self-managing myself too. Meaning, again, I'm the property manager. I'm, collecting the rents. I'm doing the maintenance requests and stuff like that. Friday night, there's water coming through my ceiling. Well, 11 o'clock, I have to head down there and figure it out. Leaky dishwasher on the 2nd floor. Who knew?
Oh, nice.
Tracking water is a whole, if we could do a sit on that, it's a pain. But anyways, so I had that 12-unit then under contract, and I was talking to my wife, girlfriend at the time, and then now fiance. We've accomplished a lot in the last 4 years. But anyways, so she had a colleague that just bought a duplex and had a turnover and was wondering, hey, how do I lease this up? And so she connected us, and we had a conversation and ended up grabbing a drink and helped him kind of get the software in place to lease that up. And I told him about this 12-unit that I have, and he's like, "Wow, can I invest with you?" I'm like, "Well, I wasn't really looking for an investor, but maybe let's talk about this." So, long story short, we partnered on that on the 12-unit here in Sun Prairie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people I'm just recently meeting are wanting to invest. And that's where I kind of saw the issue of a lot of people want to invest in real estate, but they don't know where to start. They don't have the time. They don't have the expertise. They want somebody who's going to, that's their life almost. Like, hey, they know the market. They've got the connections. They've got the experience. They can pull the right team together, and they're all in on it. So that's kind of where I took a step back, and I was at 19 units and at that time, and I'm like, okay, I want to go a little bit larger. and I'm really loving this. I wanted to get out of the software world because I just didn't like sit in front of the computer all the time, and I wanted to be more hands-on, and I just really fell in love with multifamily real estate. So then what I did is I started searching, okay, who can I learn more of this larger syndication is also what it's called, where you're pooling your money together and buying these buildings. And so did a lot of research and hired a couple, or joined some boot camps, masterminds, and brought on a couple senior advisors who have literally done 10,000 units and have been multifamily syndicator of the year with Apartment Association and stuff like that. So I went and found the best of the best to learn from. And then I also started the Madison Multifamily Meetup, which is now the largest investor meetup specific to multifamily in the greater Midwest. I mean, we get people from South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. We've had people fly in from, also Michigan, and then like the East Coast people have come from. I've had speakers come in from there.
Wow.
So that's about a quarterly event. The next one's next Tuesday.
Okay.
I don't know when this airs. The Tuesday the 18th, and it's a free event.
Okay.
We get 200-300 investors all together. There's brokers there, there's lenders there, there's first-time investors who are, have maybe woke up that morning and was like, I want to learn about multifamily real estate. So they're there. There's people who have been doing this for 30 plus years, have developed some of the biggest, most beautiful buildings you've seen in Madison. Are people coming to that as well.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's a really cool event, and so the first few events, everybody kept coming up, and they're like, why are you not charging for this? Like, there's a lot of value here, and I'm like, the goal is not to charge, people who are coming to that. And then I was thankful, grateful to, have great sponsors to help us do this, because we now host it at the Madison Club.
Oh, wow, all
so
right, getting fancy.
Yeah. But it's that premier event that people don't like to miss, right? I mean, if somebody's out of town, like I always get emails like, I'm out of town, like I don't want to miss this. But there's people who have been to every single one since the beginning. Back in November 2022 is when I started this.
Wow.
And I think we're coming up, on our 9th or 10th event. So it's really, really exciting for anybody who's interested in anywhere in the multifamily, whether if you're a vendor and you're doing landscaping, or you're wanting to be a passive investor, or buy your first duplex, or buy your 45th property. It's all sorts of people there.
Is it a full day event, or is
Nope.
this
So it's from 5:30 to about 8:30, and
Okay.
it's really focused on networking, right? Making connections and connecting others with success in multifamily real estate. There's about a 20 to 25 minute presentation on different topics. This time we have a wealth advisor coming to talk about tax and wealth, how they kind of marry up in real estate, and some different levers that you can kind of pull to maximize your profits even more. So that'll be the presentation. We've had lenders come and speak. We've had people teaching how you can invest with a self-directed IRA, so taking your old 401k or IRA and investing without penalty. So I've done a case study on Sandberg Studios where we converted a hotel into 129 apartments. Market data and stuff like that. But really the night is about connecting, and it's a free ticket. You get some cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and it's just a really exciting event that everybody's welcome to join.
That is
and
cool.
Just RSVP, because we do fill up. So
Sure, that's incredible.
But, yeah.
And that's essentially just for your network, as well as, as far as what you gain from it.
Yeah.
I imagine there's some people that you meet or deals that you can
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's multiple reasons that I do it, right? Is number one, back when I started, I had nowhere to go. I checked out a few other meetups that were more focused on kind of smaller multifamily or fix and flips, and I wanted something a little bit different. And so trying to give these people that want to learn about larger multifamily deals and passive investing and, buying that themselves and stuff like that. So there's that education and free kind of that premier event that people can go to and learn. And then obviously, working with passive investors and partnering with them through Wiseman Capital, a handful of those typically invest in deals. So I've met investors there. I know other people who have made great connections, bought their first deal through there. I mean, it's like a transaction seems to happen like at every event
Nice.
for somebody. And I love seeing people after the fact, or run into them at a coffee shop or a different event. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I met with this person. I met them at your event, and then we met and we did this deal together." So like stuff's happening there.
That's cool.
So that's probably the most exciting piece, is like just like seeing the effect on how this one event can connect this one person, do this, and then, hey, they're buying their first deal, or they're helping somebody, grow as a professional, or just as a person in general. And
Right.
so that's probably the most exciting piece about that, is just seeing other people help and grow.
Yeah, I get that. I guess it's similar. Not exactly, but similar to the reason that I do this.
Yeah.
Like there's no money changing hands or anything
Yeah.
like that, but
Yep.
I learned something from every single guest.
Yep.
So I have people that are just like, "Why are you still doing that?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
You know how long it would take me to learn
Oh my gosh.
all the
yeah.
stuff all the knowledge that I've gained over the course of
Yep.
all these guests and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Like
Yep.
it's kind of selfish for me to keep going.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, there's a selfish piece in there too, right? Because
No,
like
but
yeah, which is okay, right? I mean,
because you're sharing.
you're sharing and
Yeah.
doing great things with that too,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's got to be some sort of drive there and purpose,
Right.
underlying on why you're doing it, and that is purely my goal is just to connect with others with success in multifamily real
Yeah.
estate. So
That's incredible.
and I get to learn too. So like,
Right.
why not do it? I mean, these aren't going to be a monthly event, because it's a lot of work to put
bet.
these events together and stuff like that. I mean, when you're getting, 200-300,000, well, that's a lot of people, 200-300 people. Yeah. We'll see you all there. Yeah. We need a few stadiums
All
to
of
fill
Madison
it up.
comes in
Yep.
there.
Everybody wants
We're
to come
here
to the
to
Madison
invest.
Multifamily Meetup and learn from Cody, I tell you. But yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of we give raffle prizes and stuff we make it fun and interactive.
Wow, all right.
And every time I do an event survey too, just to see what do people want to be learning, right? I mean, I like to keep a pulse on what's going on in the room and what do people need, and I take feedback, and that's how we went from a smaller room to Madison Club to the largest atrium room that they have. So I do listen to that feedback as well.
Yeah.
It's not just a Cody show where I'm doing whatever I want to do. If people aren't getting value, then why am I doing it?
Right.
So
Fair.
yeah.
Are you the guy that's putting it on?
Yeah.
You have no help?
No. Well, so this time I have some. Well, hold on. Let's back up. So I do all the planning. I do all that stuff. Day of event. Or the event, you'll see Emily, my wife.
Okay.
She'll check people in. She's scanning the Eventbrite codes, giving the drink tickets away. So she's got the best job, but she sets that tone. Like, her energy is contagious.
Okay.
And like she loves it. People love coming to see her, and so she's building relationships too. She's not in real estate or anything like that, but she loves these events as well. So, and then now we've recruited another good friend of ours who helps her, because she's like, there's a lot of people checking in and stuff like that, and giving drink tickets and raffle tickets and stuff like that too. And then as I have continued to grow, a few months ago, Tony Tucci helped me again too. I met with him a few months ago, and he's like, "Dude, you seem a little stressed out." I said, "I am." I'm overworking myself right now. And he's like, "You've got to check out, like, I hired an assistant, and here's who you should talk to." So I now have an executive assistant, Anna Lee, who kind of helped coordinate this too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Thanks to Anna Lee, we got this set up. So she's helping a lot with, this is her first event that she's going to be a part of.
All right.
So she's doing a lot of stuff. And I was telling my wife yesterday, I said, Annalise already got all the stuff like ready to go for the printer, so I just have to go pick it up. She put this together. She's,
Nice.
she ran the Facebook ad for us. So yes, while I'm the creator and stuff like that behind, I've now kind of like working on handing more of it off to the team. In stuff like that. So
fair.
Yeah. But a lot of the stuff, I'm a very hands-on person. I found through creating Wiseman Capital in the business and stuff like that, and now that I'm the person who I've got to be able to do it if I'm going to ask somebody else to do it.
Fair.
And so that it's not a control freak or a micromanager type of it's just like, if I'm going to ask somebody to do this, I got to know I can do this, and then that person, they can do a much better job at me, but I just have to have the underlying earn my stripes. Hey, I've been out, doing maintenance calls at 11 o'clock on a Friday night when I'd much rather be in bed or something like that.
Right.
And I've done Sunday afternoon showings to show people apartments because we're working on a lease up. Like making those sacrifices. So the team can see that in the work that you're putting in, and then they want to work even harder too. And I'm very fortunate to, even with the property manager we just hired last month, because we brought property management in-house, she's a rock star.
Oh,
I told,
okay.
I was like, take off on Saturday. Like, I will go do tours. I'm around this Saturday.
Yeah.
So like, she's been going 6-7 days a week since she started. I'm like, slow down. Like,
Pump the brakes.
those are like, I'm so grateful to be able to like have people like that around me. My wife is a harder worker than I am. Like, I mean, she's, like I said, she was out of town this whole weekend. Got back yesterday and she's already back to work, but it was a work trip that she was on, not like a vacation. And my grandpa's in his 90s and still goes out to the farm every day. So I have it in my blood, in like the people I'm around. It's just like you want to go above and beyond in work in a very passionate way and believe in what you're doing.
Right. Fair.
So
fair. Tell me, let's talk about real estate deals.
Yeah. Yep.
When you are looking for a property,
Yeah.
what are you looking for?
The messiest thing you can.
Okay.
Years ago I would have probably not answered that way, but what I found is the scariest deals sometimes they seem to be the best deals, because it takes some creativity, especially in this market, right? I mean, with higher interest rates now, they're coming down a little bit, but where pricing went and it's a very tough market, especially to like develop from ground up and stuff like that with pricing and just everything in general. So it takes some creativity, like looking at a rundown Super 8 with 200 police calls a year and saying, I think I can create this into something better and turn this into 129 apartments, right?
All right.
So most people wouldn't want to touch that deal. Because it's
it seems
scary.
like a mess, a headache.
It was an absolute mess,
Yeah.
The literal mess. We took that down to the studs essentially, because there was mold in there. There was, water leaking through the roof. I mean, just holes cut through some of the studs because they just combined some room. Like, the fact that it was operating is pretty alarming, and especially after you see how, like when the inspector comes at, and like, oh, you got to do it. It's like, okay, that's great, but you're dinging us for this one little thing when you let it operate, and people literally were living here in 1,000 times worse condition. So it's kind of entertaining that way too. But
sure. That's in the city of Madison.
That is in the city of Madison.
Gotcha.
Yep. Just
Okay.
right on the other side of, right on the border.
Right by Perkins and all that.
Yeah,
there?
up past
Okay.
Perkins and stuff like that. So Sandberg Studios on Hayes Road is that one, and that has been the most fun project. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Asterisks, right?
Yeah. Only because I say that because knowing what it's taken to get to the point to where it's at, you got to enjoy the journey.
Fair.
Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of stressful, sleepless nights. A lot of we could do a whole just.
Sure.
Whole episode just on all the learning lessons on that and in growth, but it's been the most fun, the most challenging, the most I'm just the most proud of that as well, in seeing what we've created and hearing people coming to tour and then now live there and get their feedback on how much they just love that place, because it's naturally occurring affordable housing.
Okay.
So average rents in Madison, $1,500-$1,600 bucks. Our average rent is a little over $1,000.
Oh, wow.
Brand new. So I market it as affordable luxury. So people are like, what is that? Like, how do you do?
Right.
Well, let me tell you, we have all of the amenities that you're going to have with a brand new Class A ground up deal in downtown Madison.
So you're talking pool,
We've
exercise.
got pool, fitness, co-working areas, bike parking and storage, dog park, dog wash. So
Wow,
like we've and then again, these are all brand new units with brand new kitchens. You've got the stove, the microwave, because you hear a hotel, this used to be a hotel. Well, what do you have for a kitchen? A lot of times what you'll see is when people convert a hotel, they'll throw like a burner top in there and that's it, and kind of
hey, here's your toaster.
Exactly.
Kitchen.
And I said, I'm not going to do something that way, because when I buy or now develop properties, I always kind of do the test. Would I live there? Would I let my niece live there? Would I let my a family, a friend live there? So it's got to be a good, safe location. It's got to have the finishes that I like. I mean, there's a lot of our personality, my wife and I, like in this building. And I literally mean that. The walls or the paint color in the units, same color we have in our house.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
It's not just the apartment white. Like, oh, we're just going to go as cheap as possible, right? Like, we want people to be proud of where they live. And on top of that, we're doing it for an extremely affordable rate. And what's beautiful about naturally occurring, there's zero tax dollars involved, zero government subsidy. Like, taxpayers are paying $0 for this. It's all funded by private money.
Wow.
So through Wiseman Capital and our investing partners, there's no government involvement on this. So, so to create an affordable product without doing, having a TIF or, other government programs funding it is something that I'm probably most proud of, in addition to cleaning up that area. Because like I said, I mean, there's no secret. I mean, you can pull police records. I mean, there were a couple hundred police calls a year to this place when it was a hotel.
To a hotel?
To a hotel.
I must just live under a rock. I don't know. What would you be called about? Don't people just sleep? I'm like,
there's a lot of things
right.
at roadside motels.
I could see that few, right?
Yeah,
but I'm like 200. That's almost one a day. Right?
I mean, it was bad. So then it's kind of amazing is you take a step back, and I had I was, again, thankful and grateful, and I was very humbled too. Like when University of Wisconsin, Madison MBA program reached out and it's like, can you give us a tour of this? They literally brought a charter bus full of MBA students to learn from me on how we did this project because it's so unique. Coming from the guy who wasn't smart enough for a 4-year degree. I was kind of laughing that day. I'm like, I remember I was told I wasn't smart enough for collge back in the day.
Who told you that?
My guidance counselor.
Nice.
That's a whole nother session we can go into. But it's funny. Back then I took offense to it, but now I'm like, I didn't for what I was doing. But that's anyways. Education is important. Don't get me wrong. I'm again more of a hands-on learner. And
right.
That's
fair.
That's why I'm.
It just proved it right there. Right?
Exactly. So when they're coming through, one of the students is like, have you ever calculated how much you're saving the city just in police? Not having the police here every other day.
Oh.
I'm like, no, but that's a great point. Right. So when you start looking at the even larger impact, not just, hey, this is a much more beautiful property too for the neighborhood and community that people are proud of. I mean, I still get emails from neighbors and stuff like that. Like, they're so thankful for what we did there, and they're so impressed with the work that we've done in the units. I had a Tacos and Tours sneak peek event. So right before we opened, the end of May, I invited neighbors and investors and city leaders and stuff like that to come through to show them what we've done, and everybody was extremely impressed. I mean, we've got like a backsplash in the kitchen, nice bright white cabinets up, as tall as we can go, and all new showers and flooring, new windows, new doors, new roof, new siding. So like the whole outside appearance is completely different.
Nice.
And it's just made such an impact on that area, especially with UW Medical Center opening up. So we're getting a lot of travel nurses and residents and stuff like that there too. We're also 5 minutes from Madison College. So back when I was kind of talking about location when I'm looking for deals, that's one of the key things. And that's why a lot of people have been choosing to live at Sandberg Studios because they love the location. We get that feedback all the time. And we're like, this is like central to everything. They come into Sun Prairie taking the back roads when they're going to Costco or Starbucks or Grace Coffee or something like that. They're like, this is so cool. I don't even have to get on the highway.
What is it, 5-10 minutes maybe?
Yeah. It's about 7 minutes or so to Costco.
Okay.
I now volunteer to go to Costco sometimes because I'm like, it's kind of like country driving. I was like, yeah, honey, I'll go to Costco. Give me the list. Which it sounds crazy to even admit that, but
I used to live back there, so I understand that.
Yeah. It's beautiful back there, and so I've really, really fallen in love with kind of the east side of Madison, Sun Prairie area. That's where my properties are, Sun Prairie and east side of Madison.
Nice.
You're central to everything, right? I mean, you're close to Milwaukee, you're easy drive to Chicago, Minneapolis, you're close to the airport, you've got everything you need. You've got Costco, you've got Woodman's, you've got literally everything. So it's a great area, and like I said, just taking Sandberg Studios and turning into what we have is just, it takes a lot of teamwork too, right? So I mean, I know we're, I'm here to talk kind of a little bit about Wiseman Capital experience, but like it takes a team, right? Architect, broker finding the deal off market. That was Ryan Schmitz, who I mentioned earlier, that Tony Tucci introduced me to. So like the effect of just networking and helping other people grow and stuff like that with expecting nothing in return has just been phenomenal. And that's the other reason too, back to the meetup, is helping people do the same, because I know how introductions and connections and being around good people has helped get me to where I'm at, and I want to help other people do that, and I want to keep growing as well.
Fair.
So that's kind of the beautiful thing about that. So.
Yeah. So when you looked at this place specifically, you get this deal, off-market deal. Was the initial intention to turn it into affordable housing?
I mean, not necessarily affordable, right? I mean, I guess that wasn't in my mind. It was, how can we turn this into apartments?
Gotcha.
I'm not a hotel owner. I don't want to be
it's a whole
running
other game.
It's a whole different beast, right? It's not what I want to be doing. Like, that doesn't excite me. People always need a place to live. They need a good place to live, right? And I can help provide that. So that's what was the focus, is can we make the numbers work, right? Because again, this was about 2.5, 3 years ago. 2023, around February, March, when we started looking, when this opportunity came to me through Ryan. And there was another guy, Greg Szymanski, who's another developer here and multifamily guy. And he had looked at it a while ago, and he's like, he asked Ryan if he knows anybody that would want to do a project over here. And so Ryan called me, and so I went and met with Greg and Ryan, and I'm like, oh, he might be onto something here. Let me dig into these numbers. I'm like, what am I missing? Like, this seems like we can make this work with the construction costs that are going to have to go into it, for what we're going to buy the building for paying the city of Madison, park impact fee, all the stuff that goes behind the scenes that at the end of the day just kind of drive up rent prices. Not to, like we could do so many different 1-hour sessions here on how to put a deal together. I'm trying to stay focused, and but there's so much behind, because it's usually the property managers and owners that are headlines of, oh, they're driving all these rent costs up, but like there's a lot that goes into that we try to.
It's just income and expense, right?
Exactly.
And look at lenders, the expenses.
Lenders, you have to have so much debt service coverage on it, so you have to have so much income to the debt that you have. So like, you have no choice sometimes.
Right.
But anyways, back to that. So I, digging into the numbers, I'm like, oh, okay, let's try to do this. And took a look at the building. We got it under contract. It was under contract for it fell out of contract one time as well within a year. So getting it to the finish, just to start construction, was about a year process.
Whoa!
It was.
So that means your money's essentially tied up, either waiting to get spent.
So at that point, I have quite a, multiple six figures tied up of my own money. I'm still writing checks to the architect, because like, you don't just like wait on this.
Flip a switch.
And, and here, some credit to the city of Madison too. A lot of times, sometimes cities, get the bad lighting of like, they make this stuff very challenging. They were very supportive of the project.
Okay. I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, that it doesn't always go that way, right? So kind of the process, let's quickly walk through this. So we got it under contract, and then now that's really like when your timeline starts, right? Because you have so much time to do due diligence before all your money goes non-refundable with the sale, right? So, and the seller was great. He let us out to the property whenever we wanted to go. Contractors were out there walking through units, seeing, okay, these damaged units, okay, well, you're going to have to like fully gut this one. This one, we might be able to do this. We've got to now, do some new plumbing. Here's where we can put this. So like, we were out there dozens of times throughout a year. So like this guy, like literally you'd give him a text and he'd be like, yeah, you can stop by anytime. Like the front desk lady can get you into the units that you need. Like, dream seller in this situation.
So at this point, is it still operating as a hotel?
Still operating as a hotel.
Okay.
Yep. Yes. So
hasn't been condemned or anything?
No. By the city, no, it was not.
Okay.
There were people staying there, living there. It's funny to go back and read the reviews of what was going on.
Okay.
It was really, really rough and dirty and stuff like that too.
Gotcha.
Because it just, anyways. So we have it under contract. We're going through our due diligence, and we came across a deed restriction that only allowed. Yeah, at this point we're trying to build 135 apartments. In the deed restriction from years ago, you can only build 36 there.
Oh.
So that was one hiccup.
Difference.
That's a little different. So about a 99 unit difference. The numbers don't quite work out in that. So that's one of the challenges that we ran into. So we're trying to negotiate, okay, how can we kind of get this approved so we can do the units that we need to.
Let me pause you for a second.
Yes.
Deed restriction is on the city, county, previous owner?
Another property owner
Gotcha.
Adjacent to the property.
Got it. Okay.
Yes, had some had some control over that, and they still. So we worked out. I mean, it took months to kind of go back and forth just so they could get what they want, so we could get like what was doable without being illegal too. Because like some of the stuff that was proposed, it's like we can't just say no, you can't do.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it protects the property even more, which makes me happy because when we one day sell this property, I don't want to put all this work into it and then 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road when a new owner takes over, completely shifts business model and runs it into the ground. I don't want to be driving by that in 15 years and seeing it's a dump.
Yeah, it's back to where it was.
So that is that's the silver lining of this deed restriction. That is, it's a good thing, and it's going to help keep that neighborhood even more elevated in making sure that the property's upkept, which we're going to do regardless. So it doesn't really matter. We just needed the lender to sign off and make sure that it's not going to spook a future lender or buyer as well.
Sure.
And then the probably the most fun one was we had to separately meter every single unit. So the
130 some units.
Yep. So the plan was
this
building is in great shape. The bones are great.
Yeah.
Like everything except like some of the drywall needed to be replaced and put a new roof on, and problem solved. Like it's not rocket science. I mean, all of this was exposed to it, like we could see the extra work that was going to have to go into this building, which is again why you have the contractors go out there and make sure that they're bidding it properly. But that's another war story right there. Recommend having a very good contract attorney,
all right.
Because ours is putting us in a very good position there.
All
But again, we could do another session here too.
Sure, right.
All right, so. We let's see, this was about 6 months in as we're still working through this deed restriction. I think at that point already the deal had fallen out of contract because without getting the amount of units that we're able to do, I can't execute on our business plan.
Right.
And I didn't need another couple $100,000 to go hard, non-refundable on this.
Yeah.
For no reason. And so we were trying to get the seller to extend. Their attorney was out, and like at midnight, so at like 11:59, we're like, this contract is canceled. Next day we had it picked up. But so there's just so much behind the scenes that you don't realize that goes into these deals. But then it was, a little bit later as we're, back under contract, we find out that MG&E, through the Public Service Commission, PSC, requires that these dwellings need to be individually metered. Meaning we need to put, the breaker panel and switch gear and meter every frickin' room.
Wow.
And unit.
So instead of one panel, it's
this building was built in '88. It's all up to code. The electrical is great for what we're going to use it for because back to the business. The idea was let's just keep rent super simple, right? We're going to include everything for one cost, utilities and all that stuff, and then come to find out we're not able to do that. We've got to now spend over $1 million more is what this is going to cost to put all this gear in, to additional construction time, additional loan reserve. Just because it's another $300,000 for the equipment, now you have to start adding all this other
time.
stuff up.
Yeah,
time and the lender doesn't just give you this loan and say, okay, you need another 6 months. You don't have to pay us anything. No, you have to be paying your, you've got all these other expenses that you're incurring at that time too for that construction. And then so we tried to get a waiver on that. We said, we put our case out to the state and said, this is going to cost this. It's going to force us to drive rent up another, $40 or so per unit. And now it's going to be on the tenant to have to pay this, which just gets messy. And, it's pretty common, obviously, but like in this use case, we could have delivered this product almost 10 months sooner than we actually did.
Wow.
Because of this. Actually, probably even sooner, because all this time we're wasting going back and forth, and I'm just burning dollars with attorneys, like going head to head. I'm like, so finally I was like, okay, let's just order the switchgear. We'll keep trying to get our waiver, but switchgear was also out 13 months. So
pandemic-y times,
you remember COVID and all the all of the COVID excuses, I like to call it, because a lot of manufacturers and people in businesses in general took advantage of that and jacked up prices on everything just because they could. They could throw COVID in front of it. Again,
the media's pushing it,
exactly.
Prices
so it's like,
well,
yeah, of course we can jack it up 55% and make them wait a year or pay this expedited fee, but we still can't guarantee that it's going to come. Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
Because what does it do? It drives up costs for the people that are going to be living there at the end of the day. I mean, it drives up cost, but who does it get passed on to? The people living there. It's just like your more, when taxes go up, or insurance is another one. Oh boy. But somebody has to be paying for that, right? And it can't just always come out of the owner's pocket, because pretty soon you're operating in the red, and then you can't maintain the building, and then it really goes to where you don't want it to.
Right.
Look at that. I saved myself. I didn't even say it. I didn't even swear.
In the end, it's got to be profitable. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly, right? So, really what we're kind of proving with this too is listen, you can deliver something great, improve a community, give people great places to live, make some money along the way, and it's affordable rent, with no tax dollars
That's incredible.
involved.
Yeah.
No government programs, no state program, like nothing. And that's why we've had a lot of media attention on this property too. I mean, we've been front page of the State Journal. We've been in economic, like all these other magazines and stuff like that, local news, which I'm, again, very grateful for that opportunity. But again, proving that you can do some creative stuff. I'm not saying this is the end all be all. Like, you can't do this with every project. There are, there's a time and a place for TIF and these other programs. But when you can get creative and do some TIF, some other government programs, and then naturally affordable housing, naturally occurring affordable housing. Together, we all can kind of work together. I'm not saying one's better than the other.
No.
But I am proud that I'm not taking tax dollars from our neighbors and programs to be able to deliver what we delivered.
Fair.
So. Kind of got a little sidetrack there. I go off on these tangents.
That's the authentic part.
Yeah. So, anyways, like I said, back to the sub meters. So we ended up doing that, like I said, and then we did. Yep, okay. Yep. And then February. So this last February, about 75, 2 months or so before we were going to open, somebody poured some liquid on a switchgear, so we had to do an insurance claim, and that delayed the project 75 days. Ooh. Because now the warranty's void on the switchgear.
All of it, or just that one?
The piece of the switchgear, but we can't operate and we can't do a switchover from MG&E from the main house meter to make all these units live. So that was another hiccup.
Are we talking sabotage type thing, or somebody spilled the coffee? Or you don't know?
I don't. The investigation could not fully figure it out. It was. I think somebody poured a bottle of urine down. I don't know if I can say that, but yeah.
No.
Anyway,
oops.
A worker sometimes, in the middle of the winter, they don't want to go to the porta potty, and they will pee in a bottle and think they're dumping it down a drain. However, this wasn't a drain. It was a conduit that went right to the switchgear.
Oh, no.
So it wasn't just normal water damage. But even with that, I mean, the manufacturer was going to void the warranty on it.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this brand new multi-million-dollar renovation and we had no choice.
Yeah.
Because again, there was a delay. Thank goodness it wasn't a 13-month delay.
Right. Oh,
But yeah,
man.
yeah. So that's just part of the fun. So
It's the joy.
like I said, I mean, it's take when you take a step back and you're like, wow, that's a lot.
It is interesting when you think about all the stuff that you went through, and you're like, remember that day?
Yeah.
Remember that day?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I
Like,
erased it because
Yep.
we have the success right now. Let's just enjoy
Yep.
this.
Yeah.
Past is past. Let's
Yeah.
onward.
Yeah. I was talking to what was that? A couple months ago. I think it was my wife's sister. They were like moving into a different house, and they had like an issue with something like getting ready for that house, or like with the landlord on that one. They live down in Tennessee, and I was talking to him. I was like, yeah, I got to do this. As like kind of running down my list of fires I had to put out that day, and they're like, oh, so you deal with this stuff like every day? I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of like, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just, you just deal with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some say you kind of get numb to it. I don't know. But like that's just business in general, right? I mean, nothing, I mean, no matter what business owner you have sitting here or W-2 employee, it doesn't have to be a business owner. Like everybody has their challenges in stress, whether if it's a W-2 employee or a business owner or not.
Right.
And it's just, you just have to keep pushing through no matter what. You know, if you're the best salesperson or the best nurse or the best doctor or best business owner, CEO, like there's always going to be those types of challenges and fires that you're putting out, but you might as well enjoy the journey and have some fun.
Yeah, constant.
Yeah.
Constant. I would think even a burger flipper, right? Oh,
Yeah.
that spatula's good.
Yeah.
That one's bad. The ketchup bottle doesn't work.
Yep.
Customers complaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that's part of the job.
Yeah.
That's why they pay.
Yeah.
Onward.
Exactly. Yep. So, and I mean, the biggest thing, I love seeing people when they actually have passion for what they're doing.
Fair. Oh
I've
my
seen
gosh,
some
yes.
really good burger flippers for, like people that just
yeah.
love their job at Hardee's or something like that. Like, yeah, throw my wife and I under
Spinning
the
the spatula.
throw my wife and I under the bus here. But yeah, every time we go up north, not every time, but sometimes we stop for breakfast at this Hardee's, and we like now kind of know or like recognize the lady.
Oh, funny.
But she's like, she'll tell you about like her favorites. Like we're like, that lady's so like sometimes it's fun to just stop at that gas station with the Hardee's on it because that worker that's there.
Right.
Like
Fair.
So like. Even not just even not like in a bad way of talking down at that, but like it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the best bus driver in the world. Like if you're passionate and you're like loving what you're doing and you're interacting with people, like that can make somebody stay.
Huge.
Literally, like my wife and I still talk about the Hardee's lady who's like she just loves her job, like, and it's contagious.
Absolutely.
And that's back what I was saying is like when people come in and they to the meetup, for example, I think that's also why it's so successful as it is Emily, my wife, when she's greeting people, like it sets
nice.
the tone on what the event's going to be like, on what the day's going to be like. In energy like that goes a long ways.
Huge.
And I'm not saying I always have great energy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I trust me. My stress does bleed through, and I've got a very, very strong support system around me. That I always thank my wife and my dad.
Very cool.
Just because I vent a lot to them, and then I mean, I've got a lot of people like that. Ryan and my mom and brother. There's a lot of people in my corner, but those are the two main ones. Mainly because my dad understands construction, and I'm like. Okay, this is what we ran in today. Like, am I crazy? Like, oh no. Like, so that helped on a lot of change orders as well with the contractor.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
No, I understand the people that are passionate about their job or just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I've never understood people that are just hating their job.
Yeah. I don't.
Like from my point of view, that's a perspective issue.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
you can get a perspective where you're just like, I'm going to be the best.
Yeah.
Whatever, the best coal miner, the best janitor, the best CEO, whatever it is that you do, like get that perspective where you're going to be the best.
Yep.
Don't half-ass anything, and you enjoy it. You're better at it.
Yeah.
And you bleed that onto your coworkers and stuff like that. Just as if you're doing a crap job, you're going to bleed that onto your coworkers. But then you just have a crappier life.
And then it becomes such a culture issue at that company. It just goes so
huge.
It just echoes. It ripples.
And I feel like people believe that they don't have the choice. That it's just like, this is what it is. Like you totally have a choice on perspective.
Absolutely they do.
That's the main choice that you have, I would argue, right?
Yeah.
Is perspective and
Yeah.
So why not have a good
And it's
one?
something I'm always working on. Like I don't ever want to get up here in front of people and say like, hey, I'm perfect at this, right? Like I have my rough days too, right? Like we're all human, and that's why I love the authentic piece of this. And I mean, you come to the meetup or something, when I'm up there like welcoming people, like I think that's one of the bigger things that people would say about me, and to sum me up in one word, is usually probably authentic.
Nice.
I like to keep my voice. I don't like, I send out every investor email update that I send starts off with, hey, like, hey, investors or whatever, you know, like that's how I talk. Like, hey, like I'm relatable, and like not everybody probably likes that, and that's okay, right? Like and that's why I've been, you know, like when I look at the deals we've done and stuff like that, I've been able to attract investors. I don't go out and, you know, try to solicit, you know, people to invest with me. It's like, hey, if you want to, or if you want to learn more about it, I'm happy to talk about it.
Right.
I'm happy to share. I've never, it's just
being just imagining someone being like, this guy started his email with, hey, out, delete.
Well, you know what? You know what's so funny is through one of the masterminds that I'm in. I remember this was about 2 years ago, they were saying on how somebody didn't invest with them because they got on a Zoom call and had a hat on.
Come on.
It wasn't professional. That's fine. Some people want, you know, suit and tie and like slick back hair, which is totally fine. That's not my style. That's not, because if I fake it up front, then eventually the real you is going to come out.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have them up front, know who I am and what it's going to be like to partner with me and see the true authentic self and what I actually put in these deals and like live and die by. Like this is, everything's on the line for these deals that I do.
Right.
And people are going to see that. And if I'm trying to like, you know, wear a suit and tie or something like that and like try to fool these people up front, eventually, you know, a year down the road, I'm going to start my email with hey on accident because that's just what I do or whatever. Like, and then they're going to be all upset about it. It's like, I'd rather just be me. Yeah. And you don't have to like it. That's okay. Like, not in an arrogant way or anything like that, but like, I respect your decision to not partner with me on it. Like, not ever. I've turned investors away too. Like, I'm like, I don't think this is the right one for you. Like, you're looking for this or that. Like, I don't think this is the deal for you, or I might not be the guy for you.
Right.
I've referred them to other people. Like, it's, I don't know. There's plenty of money to go around. There's just,
totally.
You know, and I want to enjoy what I'm doing for the most part. You know, there's obviously again stress with it.
There's challenges, right? It's challenges. Don't call them problems.
Yeah, exactly. Opportunities. Yep.
That's right.
Opportunities.
You know, it's interesting because I think of a business like this.
Yep.
The industry like this, where a lot of times deals get made over a beer or a coffee or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Where you're not trying to be some super stuffy person.
Yeah.
And just like, look, here's the situation.
Yep.
These are the numbers. This is where I'm at. This is where you're at. This is where it would make sense. And let's have a conversation. Let's figure it out.
Yep.
Where you're not going to be like, well, sir.
Yeah.
No. Let's cut that. Cut that out.
Yep.
We'll save that for the actual offer.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Read through the document. You know, like we work with an SEC attorney too to draft. Like everything is there. I can answer any questions you want, but like at the end of the day, you've got to be able to trust me and know that I'm going to do whatever I can to make this deal successful or whatever we're working on together. Because generally my money's going in first. It's coming out last. I'm signed on the loan. Investors that are, you know, putting money in with me, they don't sign on the loan. So if the deal goes sideways, for example, they're out their investment, which is a huge, like, I'm not trying to like overlook that, but I lose all the money I put into it. I have to pay back that loan, you know, the multi-million-dollar loan, for example, like that.
Big deal.
That's a big thing. So that's the other benefit too, is why I think people like, okay, I try, like I see the work that you're putting in.
Right.
I see the team that you've got around you. You know, like I know you're going to do the right thing. I know I can count on you, because every deal is going to have hiccups. Every deal is going to have challenges. Everything is, how do you deal with them?
Right.
Right. And sometimes you have to make some really tough decisions. Which I've done.
Fair,
you know, and you know, I mean, I just sent out an investor update last Friday morning, I think it was, because like I said, we just recently brought property management in-house. That was a very tough thing to do. It was a friend's company that I fired. And not that it's not that they're a bad company. It's just, it wasn't the right fit at this time for this project, and it like kind of forced us to grow and run it a little bit of a different way. And October was fantastic. So,
nice.
Not the most popular decision, you know, like thing to do sometimes, but at the end of the day, that's what takes to be a leader, is you sometimes have to make those difficult decisions. You know, from dealing with contractors and holding them accountable. It's business.
It is. That's true.
Yeah.
Right. It's business. That's what it comes down to, right?
Yep. And I don't mean that like in a cold way. Like, I mean, you could still like, there's a respectful way about going about it, and then there's an arrogant way about it as well.
Right.
So yeah.
It's just all game.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all a game.
Yeah.
People land on Park Place sometimes, and sometimes you land on Park Place.
Yep, there we go. Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Cody, where can people find you?
The best place is probably either online, I guess. WisemanCapitalGroup.com is a great place to learn a little bit more and connect with me. I've got my email and contact form on there as well. Otherwise, just Cody Wiseman. I'm LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I don't post a ton right now.
Sure.
I've been pretty busy, but yeah, WisemanCapitalGroup.com is a great place to get connected.
Capital A-L.
Yep, capital A-L, like the money.
Right. And Cody, C-O-D-Y.
C-O-D-Y.
All right, easy enough.
Yep, Wiseman, W-I-S-E-M-A-N.
Just in case, This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business. And Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold.